Hey, my name is Phil the Cruz. Welcome to Cruising Phil. I have a special two guests today. My first time having two at once. So, Holly Reid and Jacqueline Kennedy, representatives of Cycle 55s. How you doing there, ladies? Nice to Thanks for coming on.
It's great. Thank you for having us. And this is exciting to get the word out about seniors and cycling.
I love it. Yeah, it's great. Hi, Holly. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Great for you to have us on, Phil.
Yeah, you don't take turns and don't have to wait for me to pick a turn. Just talk whatever you want. Whatever you speak. Yeah, today we're talking about Cycle 55. It's a great organization. I just recently joined as a member, as a senior. I just turned 60 last year. Introduce yourselves. Holly, you can go first, or Jackie, just tell about yourselves.
Sure, I'll jump in. My name is Holly Reid. I'm a resident of the Leaside in Toronto and a longtime uh, cyclist, interested in both cycling for transportation as well as cycling for recreation. Um, Over to you, Jackie.
Thanks, Holly. Um, yeah, so I am now 73. I just had a birthday.
Hey, happy
Um,
birthday.
I
Good stuff.
I enjoy riding my bike. I'm also a walker, a transit rider, and a driver. And I'm a fair weather cyclist. So you won't find me out there with Holly on those chilly days. But I do like to ride my bike when the weather is lovely. And I live in Midtown Toronto around Yonge and Lawrence area. And sadly, we don't have a lot of biking infrastructure up here. But I am excited about the increasing infrastructure that the city is building, and hopefully soon it will come up to our house.
Really, really well. Yeah, that's great. Are you both the founders of Cycle 55, or did you both find it together, or what?
Yeah, we founded Cycle 55 Plus when we were working on the Young Complete Street project, the Midtown Young Complete Street pilot. That's how Jackie and I met. And we found that often in community consultations about new cycling infrastructure, we will hear that, well, it's a bad thing for seniors. Seniors won't use this. And it's going to impede them getting around. And we felt that, as far as we knew, this was not true. We knew lots of people that walked and biked and would appreciate having better infrastructure. So we thought, why don't we get these people together and bring them into the conversation about advocacy? And Jackie can talk about how we've sort of formed the group and expanded what we're doing with people who are interested in biking as they age.
Yeah, thanks, Holly. I'm also a member of Cycle Toronto and a member of the advocacy committee. And it's fairly recent. And when I joined the advocacy committee, I did notice that seniors were not really represented. And a lot of the campaigns, although they're fantastic and they do absolutely incredible work, and I really admire them and support them, there wasn't a lot of consideration given to seniors on bikes, and neither is there by the city. If you look at the state of the infrastructure out there, it's really designed for a certain age group. It doesn't really suit the young, like children and seniors who have slightly different needs. Myself, for example, I have osteoarthritis. I have 4 replaced joints. So cycling for me is not what it once was. My reaction time isn't as good as it was. And I must say, where I used to be quite aggressive, I now get quite nervous in traffic. So I wanted to be able to say, let's do something to be more inclusive, as Holly said, with involving seniors. So I talked to Holly, I talked to a few other people in the Young for All group, so Holly and Marjorie Nicol, who couldn't join us today, and myself. And another gentleman, Michael Black, had the idea to do a ride of the 15-minute city in Midtown as a part of the Young for All campaign to show all the places you could get to within 15 minutes, either walking or particularly on a bike. So that was our very first ride that we did as a group. And it was very successful. And things have only gotten better from there.
That's great. Can I ask you, when did you start the group? What year? Was it last year you started the group, or what?
2021.
2021.
Yeah, we did our first ride. And 2022, we held an e-bike fair in Midtown, which was very successful with e-bike retailers. And last summer, 2023, we conducted a series of discovery rides. We did a total of 5, one per month during the summer. And what we wanted to do, the name Discovery Rides, was really twofold: to show people who weren't aware or aren't aware of the cycling infrastructure, especially downtown along the waterfront, that it is possible to get to places on a bicycle and not have to spend a lot of time in traffic. That there are, between the trails and between the bicycle lanes and infrastructure and protected bike lanes and complete streets, it's possible to get all the way downtown. And we went to some interesting places. We took them to St. Lawrence Market. We went along the Portlands and had a look at what's happening down there. Lots of really interesting things. And they were very successful, and we're hoping to repeat them again this year, but go a little bit further.
That's great. Just I have 2 points I asked. First, with Holly, you mentioned earlier, you said seniors don't bike. I've heard this many times. I find that funny because I've been in the military all around the world. I've biked everywhere, a lot of places. And seniors not even a conception. It's just natural. I've seen so many. I've biked with seniors around the world. So a year, like I say, it's not like they're using a weapon. Well, seniors can't use the bikes. We don't need bike lanes or whatever. It's sort of funny saying that. It's kind of outdated. I've heard that many times. Like when I was downtown, seniors don't bike. Well, a lot of seniors bike. And just also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alan.
Well, for sure. And seniors are being lumped in as a monolithic group, and there are stages of seniors. Not every senior is going to bike. Not every person that's not a senior is going to bike, but lots do. And I think that's what we were noticing, that there's a lot of gray hair under the helmets out there, and we need to consider those needs as well while developing cycling infrastructure that works for everyone.
Yeah. And Jackie, you mentioned about bike is not made, the infrastructure is not made for seniors and children. Can you make an example of that? What you said about the biking, like now, for me, when they put the bike lanes down, for me, what bothers me is the paving. They'll put a line down, like somewhere on Lawrence, or sorry, Eglinton. They pave certain areas, but like Lawrence is one of the worst roads in Scarborough, and they put a line there for biking. The potholes, the filling in, like just when you bike, it's like it's terrible. As a senior, at 60, I feel a lot more than when I was younger. Right? So can you give me an example of what, say, they've done the biking planning, but they've never taken account seniors or children? And that's a very good point you made.
Yeah, I think for me, I always, when I was working, I was an active transportation advocate. And I always used to ask engineers, municipal engineers and planners, when they were designing bike lanes, one question: do you have children? And if you do, would you allow your children to cycle on the bike lane that you were just planning and building? And the same with the children going out with their grandparents on their bikes. Would you allow your parents to go with your children on these routes? And if the answer was no, or they were hesitant, then I would just say to them, well, then you need to go back to the table and do it again, because it has to be accessible for everybody, not just the brave. And when I was younger cycling, I was quite brave and quite reckless, and it never bothered me. I also think one of the problems we have in Toronto is connectivity. You can be riding along the road on a quite a nice, safe feeling bicycle lane, protected, even not protected, like Davenport. They're not protected, but I feel comfortable on Davenport. But then you get to a point somewhere along the route, and suddenly there's no bike lane.
Well, bike lane.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. Now what do I do? And my point is, you would never design a road like that. You would never build a road and then just end it and start it a couple of kilometers away and just say to the drivers, well, you figure out how to get there. So that's the biggest thing for me, is the lack of connectivity. And as you're right about the potholes, and the maintenance of the bike lanes is also quite a big issue in the city. But potholes in general in the city are terrible. So.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Could I ask you, just with consultation, the bike groups they consult with City Hall about bike planning and all. Is there any consultation among seniors, like seniors included with that group? Is it just a certain age bracket or whatever? And if there's not, would you like to see that? Like, say, our age, consulting with planning bikes, not just for a certain age group, but also for seniors and children.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to do with Cycle 55 Plus, is to create a community of older cyclists who, first of all, can rediscover their city on a bike and can get together with other like-minded seniors and enjoy rides and some fellowship. But I think beyond that, it's also empowering them to advocate. So to talk to their counselor, to show up at the meetings, to send in their letters of support. We did a significant amount of work around that for the Young for All campaign. It was a lot of work. So we're hoping, though, through Cycle 55 Plus, that it can become organic, that we can get people feeling more comfortable, get them to join the group and come out with rides and whatever, and then slowly encourage them to take some action, and to become advocates.
I think it's
Holly,
just,
you
sorry.
have more to say on that.
Yeah, sorry, hell yeah, it's just take that bike first step as a senior, like, because some of them are terrified, like they don't know what's out there. Well, now, I don't know, the question is, do you talk to a lot of seniors? Are they aware that I talked to quite a few, said they always told me, said, they didn't know all these bike lanes existing now. I said, yeah, they're like, I show them maps, I show pictures, and they go, wow, it's amazing. So it gets them enthused about now safety wise, right?
Well, that was one of the things in one of our Discover Your City rides when we took people from Mount Pleasant Cemetery down to St. Lawrence Market. Most of the people who lived up around the cemetery area had no idea that they could get all the way downtown without actually having to ride on a road in traffic. And they were just blown away that this
That's
was
great.
possible. So there is a lack of awareness. And I think when you're nervous, you tend to stick to park trails. And park trails are nice and it's lovely, nothing against those, but they're not going to get you to start using your bike for transportation and to get you out of your car and start substituting those trips to run errands, to go visit someone by bike rather than driving. And that's another one of our objectives, is to encourage people to start taking those errand like trips, the trips that are, 5 kilometers or less, by bike or by walking, because we have a climate emergency. And as seniors, we have a real obligation to do something about that for the coming generations. And I think we have more ability to do something about it because we're not necessarily commuting to work anymore. We don't have to buy vast quantities of groceries to feed a family. We can do these kind of things.
Like
Yeah,
I canceled my Costco membership 2 years ago. It's only me and my mom. So I said, what am I doing? We're paying $80 for like a membership. It's not like a big family. And I always compare prices back then. When they opened back then, there was, and also they had a lot of bike equipment back then. But now, like, let me ask you a question, either both of you. If I'm a first time senior, wanted to dare to bike as a senior, what would you recommend? What are the first steps you would recommend?
For someone who's starting to bike as a senior and
Yeah,
they
this is my
haven't
first time.
biked before, or they're getting back to it.
Haven't biked in a long time. What would you do? What would you recommend?
Well, for first steps, I would recommend that they go out with someone that they know who bikes and have them take them on a reintroduction ride. And that would largely be on a park trail, because if you haven't ridden for a long time, riding with traffic can be very, very intimidating. So start out with that, but then encourage your friend that you're riding with to take you further and take you into more interesting situations.
And Jackie?
yeah, I would say the same thing. And also, speak to people that maybe you used to bike with. The guy didn't bike for a few years when I was undergoing various surgeries for my joints. And there were a group of women that I used to cycle with quite regularly. And then we sort of got out of that habit. And then when I joined Cycle Toronto and got back back into cycling again, and I also with joints, there's nothing wrong with having an electric bike.
Electric bikes are great, yeah. Are you there, Jackie?
Stop, but it gives you that extra push.
Jackie, we got a bit of trouble with your
You're just,
internet.
yeah.
Toronto does have some hills, and oh, wow, I don't know what's happened.
Okay, that's better. Yeah.
Okay, this meeting, okay.
Yeah. It was okay?
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So
Well, Jack,
I was talking about the fact that I purchased an e-bike. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You got an e-bike? Yeah, go ahead.
I purchased an e-bike because it was getting more difficult for me to go for longer rides. My joints were not good, and to get up the hill. So I would certainly encourage people to give one of those a try if you're an older person. And I think I agree with Holly, starting out on trails is a good idea. Going the route of an e-bike is an excellent idea. And then join Cycle 55 Plus. Check out our Facebook group page and come out on one of our rides. We have riders of varying degrees of proficiency. Some of them haven't ridden for a while. Some of them can be quite nervous, and some of them are very gung-ho. So, and the point of Cycle 55 Plus as well is that you get to meet other seniors who you can then, yeah, come for a ride with us, but then you could meet someone, make a friend, and just go ride with them. So the more that you can get out there and give it a try and make sure that you're within your comfort zone, the better it will be. And the thing is, it is so good for you. It's good for your mental fitness. It's good for your physical fitness. If you do suffer from osteoarthritis or any of those issues, keeping those joints moving is the best thing that you can do. And it's good for the environment. I can't think of one bad thing about cycling other than a lack of infrastructure.
I like what you said about the e-bikes. You know, people like seniors that have medical problems that they don't use certain muscles, they're getting tired. But e-bikes are great. You're still biking, just that you're just have a little bit of assist, you know. How do you give me an idea? You know, Cycle Toronto, you know, Alison Stewart.
yeah,
I had an interview with her, and she talked about this program where they teach immigrants coming up from to Canada how to bike. So my question to ask you is, as our membership expands, what do you think of the idea of, say, like a group home where seniors that they want to not hire, but actually ask one of us or that's in the group. We want to go on a bike trip. We want to learn how to bike. We want to do it as a group. Can you come and guide us and teach us and just what do you think of that? Like not like hire, not rent you out, but just kind of like say they ask you like Ollie, can you come down to the senior center? We got 10 people seniors. I want to bike. They're all enthused, but they're all nervous. Can you give us directions or give us advice? Maybe want to bike with us at the beginning and see what it's like. What do you think of that?
that would be something that definitely Cycle Toronto would take on. The program that Allison was referring to is a Learn to Ride program that they were doing this summer. And actually, I was talking to one of the participants in this program this morning, and she was a woman that got a bike through the Bike Match program, and she had not biked since she was 8 years old. And this is 15, 20 years later, and she was amazed that she got on her bike and she remembered how to bike.
That's nice.
And it all came back to her, and she was so excited to get back to it. So I think if seniors have biked before, it's going to come back to them very quickly. But we're not trained cycling educators. Cycle Toronto has those resources, and we would certainly be interested in tapping into them. There's also another program in the city called Cycling Without Age. And this is not just in Toronto, it's all around the world. And it's people that take out seniors for bike rides, but the seniors are in a chariot at the front.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
They
Yeah.
bike them.
Yeah, Robert
Bike
mentioned that
them
to me.
around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's for seniors who for various mobility reasons can't bike anymore, but they get to feel the sensation of biking and the freedom of it and get out for the fresh air with someone who can help them get around. So that's another option that's available. And I know they would like to connect with seniors residences to be able to offer that programming.
Great. Wow. Wow. I love I'm like Jackie. I'm not a winter biker. I like staying, I like staying in a lot. I've done enough winter exercise outside for years. But what I love about spring is when I go biking. This may sound funny. The first thing I look for is the first red robin for spring. That's my sign of spring when I'm biking. And I always did a little spiritual greeting, my first red robin greeting in the morning or the afternoon. And that's my biking. I'm ready. I'm all set. That's my ritual. So I'm ask you. Do you guys have your own kind of rituals when you start biking at the beginning of the season? You have your own little thing you do yourselves? Kind of like your own norm or something you have to do that you can't do without, would you say? I'm picking your brain here.
I probably do that more than Holly because Holly does tend to cycle year round if she can. Like she was out recently and posted those wonderful pictures down at the Portlands. Fantastic. And I can't wait to get down there on my bike, but it'll be a little while. I just check the temperature and I like to make sure that the road area and the bike lanes around the curb is nice and clear, that the city has had a chance to come around and remove the debris from the curbs. Because where I live, I do have to cycle on roads, usually residential roads if I can, to get to the bike infrastructure. So I need to be sure that it's been cleared enough for me. So once I see the trucks go around, removing all the winter debris and leaves that are left over in the spring, then that's when I think, okay, now I can go out on my bike. And so that's sort of the indicator for me is how clear are the roads.
Clear the roads, that's good. And you, Holly? Or you do it all
Well,
around?
I bike in the city all year round, but usually in the spring, it's the first time to get my road bike out and do some longer distance cycling. And with that, you really love it when it's the first cafe day, right? Where you can ride and then sit outside and have a coffee or a sandwich or something. So that's great. And one of my favorite rides there is down in Niagara, to go down there and ride along the Welland Canal.
Oh, wow, okay.
Wonderful route. It's off-road. It's about 80 kilometers in length out and back, and there's some wonderful cafes, etc., along the way. So that's a fun thing to do once the weather gets better.
When the weather's not, yeah. When the weather's not,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead, Jackie.
I was just going to say with the cafes, my bike rides, whether I'm on my own or with a friend, always end, or at least partway through, we have a latte stop.
Oh, nice.
My Instagram is Let's Get a Latte. And on my bike, I've been able, excuse me, I've been able to discover around different parts of the city some really cool independent coffee shops. And those are often, I think, where shall I go today? Oh, I haven't been to that coffee shop for a while. I think I'll cycle over there. So there are other, interesting destinations, personal things that you might like to do, or certain shops that you want to go to that you can head for now that the weather is nicer.
It's just not your typical mainstream Tim Hortons and all the publicized ones. I think was it you, Jackie, or I don't know, you, Holly? Somebody put a whole bunch of pictures on the coffee stops on their bike trip just a while back, and there's like little curio coffee nicks in the parts of Toronto you didn't even know existed. It's so nice, like you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So cool. So I was gonna ask you, oh, do you guys have a website yet? I know you have a Facebook, right? It's like 55 plus.
No, we have, we're not even a not-for-profit. We're just three keen cycling ladies who came together to try to do more, to encourage more people and make it safer, create more advocacy. But we are members of Cycle Toronto, so we can use them if we need to. But yeah, we're just doing this because it matters to us and we think it's important, and it's something that we can encourage others and maybe leave behind some sort of a legacy with the city definitely saying, yes, let's make sure that seniors can ride this route.
I have like the websites I have, they're all free that I used. It's called strikely.com, which I have on some other websites. It's you don't pay for it at all. You can if you want to pay for domains, it's a little higher, but they offer it's probably one of the best providers for free websites. They got so many templates. You can create your own, which I did for my campaigns and all. I've got like have you seen my bike pedal one?
Yeah,
That's free. That's
great.
free. So yes, if you were interested, when you have time, we can get together when it's warmer, and we can work on a website if you want. Or if you, that's up to you. You know, if you want.
Well, we would definitely be interested in having help with both Facebook and
Yeah,
any sort of, social media communications,
yeah.
etc.
Great. And you can also add a, because I got a bike video channels connected with the website. So we can do that with the, like I'll put this interview on my website and on the video pod that I have, the pedal TO. So they'll be on there. So I can do something like Cycle 55 later on in the future and get more people enthused. They can check out. Yeah. And Jackie, can you send me your link to your Instagram? I'll put on the link as well. And I'll put the link on for Facebook as well. Are you laughing?
Yeah, we do the Facebook one for sure.
Um, Actually, Philip, would you be able to post this interview on the
Oh, yeah.
Cycle 55 Plus site? That would be great.
Yeah, I can. What I'll do is I'll send you a copy through Google. You get a copy for yourself, and you can put it on yourself, or I can just link it on as well. I can do
Well,
that. Yeah.
you're a member, so you can put it on.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
we're always posting, but it would be
Yeah.
nice if others
Oh
would.
yeah, yeah. I'll put the link on when the I'll convert the video when we're over, and I'll just yeah. And plus, I'll send you. I always send copies to the my guests all the time. You know, so make sure you have your
Wonderful.
own copy. Yeah, so it's great. So I was going to ask you, where can you reach you? Facebook, Cycle 55 Plus.
Yeah,
Cycle
it's a Facebook group.
55 to@gmail.com.
Okay, great. Can you send me the just send me the link? I'll add on the link there on the interview as well. And
Perfect.
oh, we forgot to mention we have plans. I saw the itinerary the other day on the email. We've been talking about. Can you mention what are our first two things we want to do for Cycle 55 Plus? What's our first plans? Let people know.
Well, we shared a assortment of 13 different potential ride destinations for our 5 Discover Your City rides this summer. And so we're waiting to hear back from our volunteer team to get some consensus on what are the top 5. So we'll hear from them and then we'll get into the planning stages. We also applied for Volunteer Toronto grant to help us run these rides, and hopefully we'll hear back from that in April, I believe, is when they'll let us know. Jackie, do you want to mention something about the work with Cycle Toronto before we sign off on the granting opportunity there?
Yeah, so Cycle Toronto has been successful in getting a small grant from the federal government on behalf of Cycle 55 Plus. So we're a partner. We're not the ones doing the work. Cycle Toronto will do the work, but it's basically to do some research into cycling and seniors specific to Canada and Toronto, and to use that to help get the city to reimagine how they deal with seniors. Because when you look at the senior strategy on the city's website, it's very much geared to much older seniors who are not terribly mobile. I guess what you think of when you think of a senior, really.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is like, that's not who we are. We're
No, we're
still
not.
very active and there are loads of us out there. So we'd like to work with the city if we can by doing some initial research to help get some items into that senior strategy that are geared more to people like us. And we have put in another small grant, which was just the 3 of us put it in, to Volunteer Toronto to help us see if we can be successful in that, to help us with our volunteer activities like the rides and things like that. But it's a very, very small amount of money.
Okay.
So through Cycle Toronto, we can certainly guide them in how to be more inclusive with seniors, and also then use that as a jumping off point to influence the city on decisions they're making around and just the way they think about seniors. Like I was horrified when Vision Zero came out, and the senior strategy included, well, we'll put up some signs along the road that says this is a seniors community zone or something. And I'm thinking, well,
I saw that.
Like, come on, like you're spending money on that?
Did you
Like,
see the sign that says senior crossing? That made me laugh so much. I saw that.
it's, yeah. So we'd like to change that paradigm that they have.
I like to change that sign. I thought it was insulting. I was biking the other day, just down on Victoria Park. There's a hill down from Eglinton, and there's a lot of senior buildings. So they have this sign that says senior crossing. It's a silhouette of the guy with a walker. It's like, come on, that's so stereotypical. It's not. I know seniors that like women and men that are your age and my age and between, and they're like amazing shape. And they ask how old are you, and they go, "Wow." And you're a senior. They go, "And you're a senior." They always get that. It makes you laugh. You know,
And
it's like a
I think,
shock. Pardon me?
yeah, and I think that if it's, I get why they're doing that, and I understand that seniors are very vulnerable out there on the roadways in our public space. But I do feel that there are other things that the city could be doing, like making more complete streets, making the sidewalks and the roads safer, by changing some of the infrastructure to make it more not just senior friendly, but child friendly as well, because kids and seniors often have the same, very similar needs actually when they're out there on the street. So that's what they should be spending the money on, not these stupid signs. Sorry.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they don't put some red lights there. When you're across the street with a little button, senior crossing. And all the cars just suddenly stop. It's so funny. I was going to ask you. Really, I wish they. I know that they've done new infrastructure with bike lanes, but what really bothers me as a senior, the what do you call? What do they call those long pavement? These are for sidewalks and parking barriers. What do you call those? I don't know what they
Oh,
call
the
them.
bollards?
Yeah, yeah, the cement ones are long. Anyway, you seen on 301 the website, people bump into them and they're like hazardous. So you're biking at nighttime, you don't have a proper lighting. Like I've heard a few accidents, people with a bike just. I wish they had what they have like in Montreal. Like we have a few here, but the plastic posts or whatever. So if you just bends over or whatever. So if you hit it, yeah. Or
Oh,
it has
the flexi posts.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it has some have a little bit of a groove on the road there, a little bit of the, I was biking there last summer on Bloor, on Danforth going east after Coxwell, and there's a restaurant, and they got designated an area to do their patio. And what they done, they put this boxer plant on both ends. So when you're on the bike path, on the path there, you'd have to literally stop because there's a boxer plant they put beyond the patio, and you have to go around it. So I reported that to the 301, and I called the counselor, which is I think was Fletcher. I think it was that her area, and I think they fixed it eventually. But there's just I was taking a video with my camera. Like, here's why people just suddenly stop and they're skirting, and they're like seniors cursing and swearing, like because they went beyond their I guess their allotted time, their allotted area. They have the patio there, but they have the box plate. They should have put it a little to the side so you can go to kind of grow in it. But it was like a complete stop. You have to if you're coming at like 50 on a bike, you really have to stop or else you hit it. Just little things like
Yeah,
that.
there's definitely a problem with some of the things that are put in to protect and separate all of us
Yeah.
being pushed and encroached into the places we're supposed to be able to walk or bike along.
I think we should have a senior rally. Let people know we're seniors. We bike and we're active. We're not just having signs with crossings. Just let people out there. I think the larger, the more exposure, more advertising, I get people out there. Like years ago, when I was sketching down at Harborfront, down on the Harbor Bridge. I was telling Ollie the story, and I was sketching there in my picture, and this lady in her 70s, she biked up, started talking to me. She said, I'm in a senior's home. I've had enough of sitting around. I'm gonna get a bike." And she told me that they all told her she's not gonna do it. She got her whole bike frame, the whole helmet on. And I didn't see her for a couple of weeks. She came back. She said, "Guess what? I've got 10 people now in my seniors home biking with me." And I said, "That's amazing." I know you asked me to get her. I didn't get her name back then, but just one story. One person tried out. People told her she's too old. She's a senior. What are you doing? And then a couple weeks later, she's got 10 people. And now, 4 months later, just a couple years ago, she's now a leader for that group, and she actually encourages other seniors there. If I get her name one day, I'll get it to you. But just one story. Just like age is like I like you said. What's your logo say at the bottom? Is age is limitless, or whatever. Uh,
No, cycling never gets old.
never gets old. It's true. Yeah, yeah. Just concepts of seniors together.
But I think the point there with that particular woman is that, when we're all out there biking at an older age and continuing to bike, we're role models and we encourage other people. They see you out there and they go, if that person can do it, I think I can do it, which is part of why we need to remain, be visible. We need to show up at consultations and really push for the cycling world we want in Toronto.
What else could be funny is deceiving is both, I mean, complimentary. You both don't look your age. Like, like the age you say. Like when I met you at the Santa Claus thing, and I knew your name, and I said you're Holly. I didn't recognize you, Greg, because you look different in the picture than in real life. So when people say we're all seniors, like I get that all the time. You're a senior. Then we have to put our sign on it. Well, I'm a senior. I don't look my age. So it encourages people. That's not a senior. Oh, that's a senior. That's Holly. Oh, she's under 50 plus. Oh, you don't look your age. Yeah, because longevity and all, like in my family, right? So sometimes you see some people look their age, some people don't. Both of you don't look like the age you say, right? And that's a good sign of longevity and also the health, just pure health and just enjoyment, So
For
so we got
sure.
2 minutes left, so I'll let you both end it off, and either way how you're gonna end up. Just 2 minutes left here.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Philip. It's great to have a chat about what we're up to, and we hope that more people will learn about Cycle 55 Plus and get involved.
That's great. And Jackie?
And yes, I echo what Holly said. Thank you very much. It's been great. And hopefully we can get the podcast up there and more people. They should keep cycling.
That's great. Yeah, I'll work on the website and in the future if you want. And I got the podcast going. I'll put a link to this interview. I'll send you both your own copies. I'll put it on the Cycle 55 with your permission and do that and take it from there. And I'll show you some samples of what I've been working on for Cycle 55. Let me know what you think. I do art, as you can see. So
Yep.
let me know just ideas. And I like open ideas, collaboration of ideas, putting together, like creating Cycle 55 plus and just adding on to that. So we got 1 minute left. Say thank you, ladies, for both
Thank
coming on
you.
the show. Yeah, it's great. It's an honor having both meet you. It's an honor and pleasure and I think you'll watch it so encourage people. I like to see the inspiration later on down the road. Say, hey, Holly and Jackie inspired me. It's great. So I'll send you the copies. I know you gotta go, Jackie. You got stuff to do. And Holly, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
And
Thank
you.
you.
great. So I'll just end it off here, and I'll say
Okay.
have a good
Have a
week.
good day.
Stay safe and healthy. And let me know those cappuccinos. Those cappuccino stuff. Take pictures and send me. I love coffee.
Will do.
Take
Thank
care,
you
guys.
so much.
Take care, ladies. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.